about having to bear much of the financial liability. So before we go into that, here's a quick breakdown of what's involved.
First, there's the agency fee, about $400 to $600. Then there's a $5,000 security deposit, which employers post to the Manpower Ministry. They also have to buy accident insurance for the maid and pay for medical treatment and hospitalization fees that aren't covered under the policy. And finally, there's a maid levy of $265 a month. But there's also concessions, grants and tax breaks for certain households. Maids also have to pay their way to Singapore. For some, it could be as much as $3,000 in placement fees, which goes to the middleman and Singapore agency and covers paperwork and training. Most employers pay for the maid first and get the money back later. From May, Indonesian maids will pay less in placement fees, but employers will have to pay up to 3 times more in agency fees.
You're watching Talking Point, The Vote. Mr. Ang, let's come back to you. Early on, we were talking about the issue, and some of our callers were talking about fear of contracting disease, let's say. What about the issue of bearing the burden and the cost of medical costs and issues there? We've heard of issues where, whether it's a disease or whether it's a mishap, that obviously the employers take the place of paying up for the medical fees. Is that a concern for you? I know I've heard before, especially on my talk show on Talkback, people have called in and said that if they go out on the weekends, I don't know what's happening. What if they hurt themselves, and what if they fall? What if something happens and then I have to end up paying for it? Is it a money thing at the end of the day?
I think to me it's not a money thing, because in the first place we already paid for insurance to cover for their well-being if they are hospitalized.
Does that cover medical issues as well?
You'll cover as well fully to a certain amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not really my primary concern.
Okay. Yes. John, have you heard feedback from employers who say that perhaps it is their primary concern?
I've heard from some employers, but I think it's worth your while when you're employing a domestic worker to take time over the insurance policy. We had exactly this situation with my mother-in-law's worker who had an operation, a serious operation, but fortunately we'd taken out the right insurance policy. So you do your homework and then you won't be landed with these terrible expenses later on. It just makes sense.
So we have a one-day settling-in program for domestic workers. Do we need a one-day settling-in program for employers?
Would you go for that, Mr.
We actually have to go for that for the first-time employer.
Well, I understand that you have to take a quick class or something, yes. But you don't. Do you have to attend it actually?
You're going to do it online.
Yes, online, but you don't have to go to a class in person, like the maids have to right now, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Would you approve of yourself going for a class?
I don't really think there's a need for us to really go for that class.
All right.
We're going to take a quick phone call right now, 669-10028, before coming back with our next part. Monica, you're on air. I've got very little time, Monica. Go right ahead with your comment, please.
Okay, I would like to just ask, before they actually consider the 7 days off, what about those people who are trying to work 7 days a week just to make ends meet?
So you're saying in this situation, do you think that foreign domestic workers want to work 7 days a week in order to make ends meet?
No, I mean the employer themselves who are making ends meet by working 7 days a week.
I understand. We'll get to your question the minute we return right here on Talking Point, The Vote. Keep those calls coming in and tweet us at TP Vote right now.
And we have to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what can be done to ensure that both the needs of maids and employers are met. Stay with us.